Hello there. Welcome to the MCU Podcast. I am your host, the MCU Guy. It's been a while. It's been a good while since we've done a podcast. Had a lot of things on and been doing some other stuff and some other projects. We have had a lot of MCU stuff happening, so it's I'm surprised I didn't really get a chance to talk about this sooner. But like I said, been a bit busy with some other stuff. But now I'm finally happy to be back to talk about some stuff that is proper exciting. So I've got.
You've only missed two films.
And yeah, to be fair, we had missed. And we've not talk. I've not spoke about What If on this podcast as well, but we kind of gloss over What If with some of the announcements from Disney Plus Day 2 because we've got some talking to do about What If, I think. As you could hear or see, I am joined by returning guest James Matthews. Hello, James.
Hello, Matthew. I thought you forgot my name for a split second. Then I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, no.
Hi, it's nice to be back. Thanks for having me again. It's been a bit.
It's been a bit, yeah.
It was before Falcon, I think, the last time I was on.
Yeah, I think was it you and Michael, Mr. Avenge Nerd, talking about the early stuff in this year, which it seems like an absolute lifetime ago since we were talking about Falcon, Winter Soldier, and WandaVision. It seems ridiculous how long ago. I know. I'm starting WandaVision tomorrow again because
nice.
The missus.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for Doctor Strange. For when Doctor Strange is closer.
All right. Oh, then you're going to rewatch it.
Yeah, then I'm going to rewatch it.
Yeah. I'm on a rewatch at the moment with the missus because she's never watched the MCU shows or films. So we're currently at Loki. We're finishing Loki tonight, and then we're starting WandaVision tomorrow. And then we've got Falcon, Winter Soldier, then Shang Chi, then Hawkeye, and then No Way Home. Then Far From Home, then No Way Home. So she'll be finally caught up at that point, which is pretty exciting. But I tell you what, before we had to get into talking about Disney Plus Day, when I last time I did a podcast about Loki, and I did like an episode, like the review of the show, I wasn't very like. There weren't a lot of high praise for Loki, but watching second time round, it's actually really, really good. And I'm annoyed that I didn't take away more from it last time I watched it, but I've really enjoyed it this time around. So it's got up in my estimations, Loki. It was very good. And obviously, with the stuff that it does for the MCU going forward, yeah, groundbreaking stuff. But that's my own little nugget for people who listen to the Loki podcast. I've changed my mind. It's good. Don't worry about it. I really enjoyed all the episode now. As opposed to getting bored halfway through it and saying it was a bit of shit. But yeah, let's jump straight into the news that we got from Disney Plus Day, which was last week or the week. I think it was like a last Thursday.
I'm not entirely sure what day it is, but I think it was about a week and a half ago.
It was well long that. It was the 12th of November. Jesus Christ, life's going fast. Life's going as quick, isn't it?
I said a week and a half. That's 10 days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Disney Plus Day is a day, I think it's the second one we've had, or the third one we've had since it got released, where we pretty much get a lot of new announcements for all the stuff that Disney wants to give us. Star Wars stuff, animated stuff, Marvel stuff, and actual proper Disney stuff. And Marvel Studios did not disappoint with their lineup for this. So as well as some like updates and a little trailer for stuff that's coming up next year, with like a little She-Hulk preview, a Moon Knight preview, a Miss Marvel preview, and like a 3-second clip of Nick Fury with a cool old man beard. We got some new announced shows. So for people who don't know what the new announced shows were, we've got a WandaVision spin-off about Agatha Harkness called House of Harkness, which I think that's going to be pretty interesting. We've got show Echo, which follows Maya Lopez, who we're going to see in the Hawkeye show. She's getting her own spin-off, which that's going to be pretty cool, I think.
A spin-off of a spin-off.
A spin-off of a spin-off. I think we're going to get more of an indication of what she's going to be like in Hawkeye, but it's cool that we've already got plans going forward for other stuff coming off that. And then we've got X-Men 97, carrying on with the original 97 animated show. Why they didn't do this for Spider-Man, I'm well annoyed. But yeah, the original X-Men with the original voice actors, picking up to story where it left off. Just absolute stuff of dreams for X-Men fans.
You said about Spider-Man, but they've got Spider-Man Freshman Years, which is going to be cartoon.
Yeah, so you are right.
You've got something there.
I do, yeah. And we got.
I did read that it's the same guy who voiced Spider-Man in What If is apparently doing it.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's official. I remember reading it. The news site, Twitter, I believe it's called, told me that. So take of that what you will.
Yeah, well, I'd rather it be Tom Holland, but obviously I get that it's probably going to cost them a bit more money to do Tom Holland, and with it being an animated show, it probably will be classified as canon, but I can't imagine it being that important to the story going forward. I can imagine it just being a retelling of his origin story in cartoon form in the MCU.
It's just going to be that, isn't it? It's going to be, I got bit by a spider.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I have some powers in that.
Cool. I've seen 2 films of this already.
Yeah, we pretty much know how that goes. We've also got Marvel Zombies, which again, I think that's another spin-off of, I'm hoping, the What If episode with the zombies. What If season 2 again, more What If stuff, and then Loki season 2. And again, we kind of knew that was going to happen, but that's been finally announced. So let's talk about some of these shows, right? So first of all, did you see the footage from the trailer that's on Disney Plus? Have you watched that yet? It's got a bit of a Hawkeye preview, and it's got like a little bit of. I don't think there's about. I don't know. I'd say there's about 2 minutes of each.
All right. Okay.
Show shown in it. So the She-Hulk one, pretty interesting. We actually see Jennifer Walters pre-hulking up, and then Jennifer Walters after hulking up. Although we only see the back side of her, which they put in for a reason because she's thick. That is pretty interesting. And then we're not doing spoil anything for you there, James, but we have Hulk in his Hulk form.
Yeah, I saw a picture of Hulk where he's dressed as a normal person.
Yes,
just stood somewhere, and it just looks odd. It just looks odd.
So we've got Hulk, we've got Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, and we've also has him as Bruce Banner as well in the trailer. Which again, there's a lot of questions regarding what's going on with Hulk at the moment, because obviously we got Smart Hulk in Endgame, and then in the post-credit scene for Shang Chi, we have
it was Smart.
It was Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner again, with still his arm in a sling, but in the trailer for She-Hulk, no sling in either of his forms. So I'm not sure what's going to go on there, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some interesting
developments.
Interesting developments we're going on with Banner in that show. I mean, although it is about She-Hulk, I do think it's going to be more of a progression of Hulk's character as well, as we've seen over the past 5 years within the MCU with Hulk.
I kind of feel it's just going to lead to like a Hulk film, but an MCU. Yeah. I know the first one is it is and it isn't canon. It's terrible. But it's in there. I feel somehow we're going to get. Yeah,
there's room for a World War Hulk.
One part that obviously Abomination being in Shang-Chi makes it a little bit more canon. But then the very end, is it the very end post credit or the end post credit? I can never remember which one it is.
With Tony Stark.
With Tony Stark. I think that's the only bit that kind of ties it in. There's nothing else.
But I mean, there's a lot of nods to it. There's a lot of nods to stuff that's happened that is going to happen going forward and stuff. And obviously, the start of it, even with the little thing at the start, it shows lots of stuff to do with Shield and all that kind of stuff. But out of all the films, it seemed like the least canon wise. But I think you are right.
It's also the worst.
Yes, it is also the worst. I think it is leading up to a World War Z, a World War Hulk film, which again would be interesting. I'm quite excited something like that.
We're not going to get that for a good while, obviously, but
no.
I think you know what? I'd like to see Mark Ruffalo get given a chance to do a Hulk film that isn't as bad as the 2003 one, which was bad. I can't remember who was in that, but I just remember it being
Eric
bad.
Banner in it.
Yeah, and then obviously the 2008 one, which, we move.
Let's talk about that the better, I suppose. Yeah. And then we also got a bit of Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac looking pretty intense as Mark Spector. I think it was going to be pretty gritty, that one. From what I've seen, it looks like it might be a bit trippy and a bit gritty, which is very cool. Ms. Marvel as well. We saw Kamala Khan in the trailer doing like, you see glimpses of her powers, and I think that's going to be like a really fun show that I can imagine it being quite a. It's going to be quite a likable character. So
I think it's going to be one of the more light-hearted ones out of the few that are going to be coming out. I feel like a lot of Marvel things are going to kind of go away from the comedy side of things, because I think things are about to get pretty dark in the whole MC universe.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be on the lighter side. Well, I think Hawkeye is going to have some lighter parts, which we'll get onto this afterwards. But it's much more of a darker universe than it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it does with the telling of what's going on with the multiverse of madness. Like, you've got Sam Raimi taking over that, and he's like very well known for being a brilliant horror director. So I feel like that's going to get darker before it's going to get lighter with the MCU stuff. Agatha Harkness, the House of Harkness. Are you excited about seeing Agatha come back?
It was Agatha shining lights. So you know what? I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it because I thought the character was brilliant, and we saw it coming from a mile off. After like the first couple of episodes, you saw it coming, but it was still pretty cool. I think she's a good character. I think she played the role very well. I don't know where it's going to fit in. It's always going to be a prequel to WandaVision and where she came and how she kind of. I feel like the last couple of episodes are going to be her leading towards meeting Wanda.
Like a bit of a prequel thing.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be that, and I think that's quite cool. I'm going to explore a bit more of her, and I'm sure that somehow they'll try and link Mephisto into it, because Mephisto is everywhere.
Mephisto is here somewhere. If it's not going to be in that, it might be in season 2 of Loki, which again we already knew was happening anyway because they did say he was going to return. But Loki comes in with the second series. It's going to be interesting to see how that kicks off. With obviously with the induction of Kang at the end of season 1. Who knows? Because there's infinite universes, isn't there? So there's whatever universe is in, Kang has completely taken over the TV, and he's obviously ruling with an iron fist. It seems. I mean, they built a statue of him in the TVA, so it must be pretty interesting. I can imagine it's going to take place in and around Ant-Man, Quantumania.
They're going to link up somehow, I think, aren't they?
It'd be good if it happened before Quantumania, because I kind of want more Kang.
I think more needs explaining for people who aren't as into the MCU universe as others. And I think if you kind of introduce Kang in just the Ant-Man film and go, by the way, this is the guy who's going to really upset people for the rest of this phase 4, maybe into phase 5.
Yeah.
You need a bit more. And I feel like the series of obviously, because they're longer, more than anything, have more chance to be able to tell what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to see a bit more of I mean, because at the end of season 1 of Loki, like, it's explaining obviously like what's happening and how it all works. But it's going to be interesting to see how his character, how powerful his character is. Like, I want to see more of that tease throughout a season before we get to him being the big bad in Ant-Man, because. Yeah, it needs more of a development, because I mean, as a character like Kang deserves like to be feared, and I think we need to see more of that in his character development before we get to see him in Ant-Man. But it's very cool to see Loki get his return. The Echo show. Echo is the first. Won't be the first deaf character in the MCU, because we've already had one in Eternals. But she's getting her own show straight off the bat without Hawkeye even debuting. So they obviously got big plans for Echo. Echo also has like ties in with a lot of New York-based villains, especially Kingpin. I can't remember her relationship to Kingpin in the comics. It might even be like a niece or something. Right. But I think from what Hawkeye and what Spider-Man could do for us, I'm thinking a Kingpin appearance is bound to happen sometime soon. I don't know about you, but
what, as in the Kingpin from Daredevil?
Yeah, well,
he's expressed a lot of interest in coming back.
Yeah, man.
I mean, why wouldn't you? A, money, and B, cool role.
Money.
Yeah, A, money, B, money, C, still money. No, he's expressed coming back, which I think would be quite cool. Because again, it ties into bringing in Daredevil more as part of canon, which, we'll talk about that after.
Yeah, but it makes a lot of sense to kind of bring all that in. I mean, even if having these shows are all really cool and really exciting, but I mean, as a big Spider-Man fan myself, like with a chance of getting the Kingpin into like the MCU properly, would be, the potential is very exciting. Just because it sets up so many cool storylines, and I'd love to see D'Onofrio back because he's immense. He's absolutely immense. So we might as well touch on What If, because we had a discussion before about What If, and I was like, season 2 has been announced. You were like, nah. So I've got a feeling you're going to tell me some stuff about season 1 that you didn't particularly like. And you know what? I don't know a lot of people who didn't enjoy it. So I need some reasoning for this, James.
I just honestly didn't enjoy it. The Captain Carter episode I thought was good. I'll put that out there now. I thought that one was quite good. The zombies episode annoyed me. The evil Doctor Strange annoyed me. And just I don't know what it was. I just couldn't get into it. I tried different episodes. I just tried it, and I don't know if it's the animation or whether it was. I will revisit them because I'm going to have to, because it's season fucking 2. First swear, I've done well. It just wasn't. I just didn't enjoy it. I just thought it was unnecessary, and I don't see how it's going to lead to anything further in the MCU. I feel like it was a bit of a filler. Like, they needed content. They made something that was, obviously when this was made, it was like pandemic and stuff like that, so they could do different things. And it just felt like as if we're just going to make some content. Oh, some people have liked it. We'll just do a season 2.
Yeah. Okay. I understand where you're coming from. I think the stuff that they touched on in season 1 of What If was pretty important going forward for like multiversal stuff, and obviously people love What If, as in like what if because anything can happen in these shows, really. And that's just I think
T'Challa
really
being in the Guardians. Why?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're a fan of that kind of stuff,
I'm absolutely fine with the shows if they make sense and they have a reason to be within the MCU. I'm not saying don't do things that have nothing to do with the MCU. I'm not, but don't big it up and say, "Oh, look at all these things that we're going to do." And I get that they're showing what multiverse can do. Yeah, but I just think some of the storyline choices were poor.
Yeah, some of them were a bit strange.
Marvel Zombies is something I would skip if it's anything to how What If was.
Really? That seems to be a lot of people's favourite episode. Along with Captain Carter,
I really enjoyed.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that she's going to get main focus again in season 2 of What If. So don't worry, Captain Carter's going to be knocking around. That might save it for you. But I think there'll be a big fallout from what happened in season 1 with the Watcher, obviously breaking his oath to not interfere in what happens in the MCU. So yeah, that's pretty much a roundup of, apart from the other shows that we already knew about, like Ironheart, Iron Groot, Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special, Secret Invasion. That's pretty much the big news from Disney Plus Day. I mean, so out of all them shows, James, which one are you most excited for?
I'm excited to see what they'll do with Spider-Man, because I'm not as big a Spider-Man as you, just looking behind you there. I love Spider-Man, so I think Spider-Man freshman years will be good. I think X-Men 97 will be good. Yeah, I'll be intrigued as to where She-Hulk goes, what they're going to do with that. And obviously Loki season 2, because Loki's cool, and I think there's a good chance that it's going to have a big impact. Obviously, with it being Kang, we need to know what universe Loki's in, because has he come back to this universe now? There's so many questions as to where it's going to go, and I just have a fit. I don't know. I think Loki is up there, but Spider-Man freshman years is going to be good.
Yeah, I agree. Any Spider-Man content for me is going to be very excited. I think if I'm looking at it where we're at, I'm thinking possibly Secret Invasion might be the most impressive show out of all of them.
I think it'll probably have the most impact.
I
think going into the films, I think it'll have the most impact. Where X-Men like 97 and Spider-Man freshman years will just kind of be fun to watch, and there'll be a bit like nostalgia, especially for X-Men. Where I feel like the Secret Invasion will have a big impact going forward on multiple films, not just one. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it'll tie. I think it might. Well, it should in theory tie into the Marvel's film, the Captain Marvel 2 film. Whereas obviously, I think Miss Marvel will as well. But I think with the connection with the Skrulls, I think it's going to play a big part in Captain Marvel 2. But that's again. I think that should be quite cool anyway. But that's just Disney Plus Day. That's not including obviously some of the films we've got coming up. No announcement on the films because again, it's just about Disney Plus, not about what's going on in the films. So let's move on to the films and let's talk about the first film that we haven't talked about on this podcast yet. I was hoping to do a review of it when it came out, but again, I just didn't seem to have the time about it. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. What an absolute turn up for the books, man. What a film. Going into it, weren't really expecting the world, but came away thinking that's one of my favorite ones in recent years. Like one of my favorite solo films in recent years. Like Black Widow was great, it was, but Shang-Chi, I think
Shang-Chi beats Black Widow
is up there. Like you think about the films we had, like in and around Endgame and Infinity War. We had like Thor Ragnarok, which was fantastic. You had Captain Marvel, you had Ant-Man and the Wasp. But I think Shang-Chi's up there with Thor Ragnarok and Far From Home for me. It was something completely fresh. Yeah.
I mean, this was my big thing, that it didn't just feel like another Marvel film. And I think that's where some of the issues with the solo films have definitely come into it now. I'm not saying I've not enjoyed the solo films. Like I said, Black Widow was good. Captain Marvel was all right. And I just feel like these ones, like Shang-Chi, it felt fresh. It didn't feel like it was just a rerun of other things. It actually told a decent story. We actually got some decent the part of the Mandarin. Ben Kingsley. Although shout out to him for coming back, because that's always a good thing. And the little creature thing that runs around with him.
Oh yeah, cool. I can't remember what it was called, but
that
was cool.
I'm just gonna. I wish I hadn't brought it up now, but I thought that was cool. I really enjoyed Shang-Chi. I mean, the only issue I think I had was the end credit. I don't think it necessarily needed him to be brought in with Avengers people there and then, because like you said, it throws the timeline off a little bit. Whereabouts does it fit in if Bruce is Bruce again?
I get that. I totally agree with it. Like it was a bit of like what's going on here kind of moment. And I think the only thing if they're setting up like an Illuminati storyline and making Shang-Chi part of the Illuminati with Doctor Strange and maybe Banner and Captain Marvel, then I understand that. But it just seemed like a bit of a strange thing to almost like making him an Avenger.
It was almost like they just threw it in there. Like,
just some names.
They just kind of threw him in, and then they said, "Oh, look, don't forget these. Look how good the Avengers are." I don't think it needed that. Which is when we get onto Eternals, which was I mentioned that it was nice that Eternals didn't have any of them, because it was very much it was an origin, and it was no, we don't need to talk about. I don't know when they were spoken about. They weren't there. I think that Shang-Chi, if it hadn't had that bit in, it would have been. The film was still great, and I still think it's a very good addition to the MCU timeline. And I think going forward, they'll definitely do a Shang-Chi 2. I think that Shang-Chi will probably appear in other things. He might even appear in She-Hulk, but there's loads of other parts that he could appear in.
Totally. I hope it does.
And if we're talking about the Mandarin, that links to the Iron Man films, which I thought was quite cool. How they kind of rounded that up, because everyone was a bit like, "Oh, that was a really bad." Like, the casting was nothing wrong with it, but it was kind of the link to it was just poor. But no,
they redeemed it, didn't they? They definitely redeemed the Mandalorian, the Mandarin in this. Completely different show. They definitely made up. They definitely made up for that. They definitely made up for that in this film, which is good, and it kind of like it it did massive justice to that character because, and I can tell you what was really good about the story in this and the Mandarin in particular was the fact that it didn't really make the Mandarin wasn't necessarily the bad guy, was it? Because
no, he was
because it was the creature and that awful stuff behind that wall. He was essentially a pawn, weren't he? And being used, and it was good that.
The way that as well, it wasn't made a big deal. Like I am the Mandalorian, Mandarin. I am the Mandarin. It wasn't like a huge, no way. It was just kind of, oh yeah, I'm him, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of, right, let's go on and actually carry on with where we're going. But yeah, the whole idea that he was the pawn and he was trying to get his wife, and it was good. It
wasn't necessarily just like. No, I think it's just refreshing to see a bad guy that's not, like we've said before, like a generic bad guy. I want to take over the world.
I want to take over the world.
I'm doing this for the greater power. Yeah, I want a greater power. It's more of the fact that he's lost his love and he thinks he can bring her back, but he can't, and it's just being used for the. I can't remember what that big monster was called, to be honest with you, but it was pretty intense. So I thought some of the special effects in that were insane. Like I think I say this every single time we go to somewhere that's not like a real place, but when they create worlds in the MCU, I think it's outstanding some of the stuff they can do. Like creating like mythical creatures and having dragons and stuff. It's just I understand they can do that because they're a big studio, but I'm always kind of blown away by how impressive it is. Because it looks just phenomenal. It really does. It looks so impressive. And everything from the special effects all the way down to like the choreography for the fight sequences. I mean, I obviously know it's a martial arts film, so to speak, but some of the stuff they were doing, that building fight where they're on the scaffolding.
Yeah, that's cool. That was
Jesus, cool. Man. That is some seeing that, and I was blown away at how good it all was, and it visually just looked incredible, and
nice to see Wong as well.
Yeah, really good to see Wong and Abomination. But God. I just think it was a very, very, very likable cast, very enjoyable film. I quite like the fact that they didn't make Katie and Shang Chi a couple. They didn't really need to make them a couple, which that would have normally happened in most MCU films because they normally love interest.
MCU would have happened. They did have a big romantic kiss at the end of it. I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, just for the sake of it, didn't really need that because there was already a love story in there already between the Mandarin and his wife, Ying Nan. I think it's Ying Nan. So yeah, it was really good, really good. I'm just glad we got it when we did because it was a bit of a I think with like something to really enjoy and like a big summer blockbuster. I was like, yes, something to get really excited about
at that time. Or was it moved around?
It was moved around, but I think they always intended it to be. I think they always intended it to be like a summer hit, a summer film. Yeah, and to be fair, I think it absolutely delivered. It not that it would have been a bad film.
It didn't deliver as much as.
Go on.
Eternals. Never mind. I know that's where we were going. So.
Well, we are going to go to the Eternals. Yeah, we're going to hit the Eternals. We'll talk about the Eternals before we take a slight break. But yeah, the Eternals again. Well, as you just said, it didn't really hit as well as Shang-Chi. I mean, Shang-Chi got really, really big praise from critics and fans alike. It's got a really, really high Rotten Tomatoes rating as well as a good IMDb rating. Whereas Eternals kind of fell flat with a lot of critics. But the fans, every single person I've spoken to who've watched Eternals really enjoyed Eternals. And I think it's safe to say that we don't really give a shit what the critics said about this one.
No,
because
I'm just going to try and find the exact response that I sent to you about it. Because you asked me my opinion.
Yeah. No, please do. I mean, it's...
Talk amongst yourselves, folks.
Talk amongst ourselves, yeah.
I'm back in August. That's wrong.
It's Eternal. So yeah, like this is another film that I was going to do a review on, but I didn't really get a chance to talk about it. But here we are going to talk about it now. So James is going to give us his reaction to it when we spoke about it when he went to watch it. Go on.
In 12 words or less. Loved it. Fuck the reviews. It was very good. Enjoyed it a lot.
Precise.
You know what?
To the point.
All I read before it was reviews saying, "Oh, it's this and it's this and it's not very good and this isn't nice and this doesn't make sense." And you know what? Balls to him.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was really good. I know a lot of people slated it because of the LGBTQ things and the people. You're all idiots. You're just idiots.
Yeah.
I want to say other words, Matthew, but I don't want you to edit.
No,
I'm trying to behave.
No, I understand that. I appreciate that. But I get what you're trying to say.
I just don't get it. Yes, there is moments of that in the film. It's 2021. They're not thrown in your face. They're nothing that people could get even bothered about. It's just, there it is, right next.
Yeah.
And then people said that the film itself and the story wasn't very great. There wasn't much character development. It's hard to develop characters when there's that many of them all at once.
Yeah.
But that isn't the end of it. You've lost 5 of them.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. The death count was pretty high, wasn't it, in the film?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of there's a lot more of that story to tell. I feel like Eternals is going to have a fair few of their own films, which is I'm absolutely fine. As I said, I enjoyed it, and for people who haven't seen it, well, I'm going to tell you anyway because you should have watched it by now. If you haven't, sort it out. Obviously, the end credit when you kind of see. I didn't even know Harry Styles was in it when he turns up.
Yeah, I did. I'd seen it. Someone ruined it for me on Twitter, which I didn't even realize. I didn't realize it was part of the post-credit scene. But someone was like, "I can't believe Harry Styles is Eternals," and I'm like, "What?" And then I didn't realize he was gonna turn up as Eros, a Star Fox. But well, yeah, it was a surprise me when I saw him. I was like, "Oh, here we go." But no,
there's going to be a
cool,
fair few Eternals films, which I think is good.
Yeah,
I think
there's still enough of them, isn't there?
Yeah, there's still enough, and there's obviously more of them that we don't know about. Any others who've survived worlds and whatnot. And I just feel that people who haven't given it a chance because it didn't have Avengers characters or it wasn't linked in any single way to an Avenger film. Don't get me wrong, Shang Chi didn't really, but it had that link at the end. And it was obvious that it was going to have a link.
Yeah.
Whereas Eternals didn't need any of that. And I think that's why a lot of people are like, "Oh, but I didn't get to see Rhodey or anything. I didn't get to see them in it." Like, no, you don't need to.
No.
And yeah, I think the story was very good. The fact that they made Superman canon within the MCU was brilliant.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Really cool.
A very unsubtle middle finger to the DCEU. Yeah, no, Matt, what was your thoughts on it?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was something really, again with Shang-Chi, something a bit different and not your usual MCU film. I didn't see the Icarus twist
the heel turn, to use a wrestling term.
I was a bit unnervy about Icarus. I was a bit like, oh, something not right about him, but I didn't think he was going to be the guy to change everything. But then it did make sense, and it was a cool twist, and I really enjoyed it. And
I really thought it was going to be the mind control guy, which I can't remember.
Oh
his name
yeah, Drew.
I really thought it was going to be him. I honestly 100% thought it was going to be him. And then when it was,
I thought that was well, to be fair.
And when it was Icarus, that's actually, you know what? You've got me. You've
done me. You've done me. You've done me
right up like a right kipper. No, I don't know what that was. It was good.
Yeah, it was.
The turn was. It wasn't the traditional MCU. This is what's going to happen. Like you could see, kind of like where the baddie was going to come in, apart from in one division, but we move. Yeah. Bastards. Where's my face though? So yeah, it was nice to see that kind of that change in the style. Like I said, it didn't feel like an MCU film, which again I think was good because now we've had a bit of a break for it, which means that we're ready for that small film coming out in December. I can't remember the name.
that film that will not be named so far.
Nope.
Yeah. I think the most impressive part about it was obviously the cast was stellar, and I thought it was really good to try and develop the MCU around real world things. Like, also we mentioned that we got Superman as canon, and the mentioning pop culture references and stuff like that, which they've always done throughout the MCU. But it was nice to show like actual world events and explain how the MCU was fit around these world events, like going back in time and
like
planting the Eternals in real life history. I always find really, really impressive that they do that. Like they did with Loki, with going to like Pompeii and him being what's he called now? DB Cooper and stuff like that. I loved when they could try and fit real world life things into the MCU and explain why it works, and having Dane Whitman be like, I think it was really impressive because obviously he's got connections because he's Black Knight, and they didn't really throw that in your face there, but obviously they did a post-credit scene at the end, which I knew that they were going to do some sort of post-credit scene with him, but it obviously it shows that these characters have been around for ages, and we're finally getting to see them in the forefront of the MCU. And like even when he asks Cersei like why they didn't help with Thanos or any of the like things in New York or any of the life
like a really obvious question that you would ask,
and like, well, we weren't allowed to.
Yeah, we weren't allowed. All right.
Which I thought was really good because he was like, well, look, we were supposed to, we weren't allowed to hinder.
They weren't meant to be there at that point, though.
No,
they never got the command to go home, whereas they believe that all the missions they've been on in the past, they'd already gone home by now.
Because that was a twist, wasn't it? That was the twist. Twist. They've been there multiple times. Did you know that in the post-credit scene at the end, it's Blade, Mahershala Ali.
No.
Who asks Dane Whitman, are you ready for, or like, are they ready to see I can't remember what the line is, but are you ready, or are they ready to see the real you?
So that's the original Blade guy voice?
No, it's not. No, it's Mahershala Ali.
The new guy.
The new Blade.
It's
him. He does the thingy. So obviously that's now we're going into Blade territory, and we're going into vampires and all kinds of stuff. Like this is like
we've had dragons,
we are turning exactly, but that's the whole point of Phase 4 so far. It's multiversal and it's just fucking mad. Like we're addressing, and it's I think it's the second time we've mentioned vampires in the MCU. We mentioned vampires in Loki. Mobius mentions it. It's like we've had vampires in here, we've had demigods, we've had all sorts. So I think it's really exciting for what's going to happen. Shout out, by the way, just absolute shout out to Karen, Harish Patel, the actor who plays Karen, the Kingo's valet guy. Fucking hell, he was funny, man. He was great. Like I know we always get a good bit of comic relief in MCU films, and I thought Kingo was a good comedic relief, but that Karun was just so fucking good, man. he was an absolute MVP of that film, and I know if anyone watches any new Rockstar stuff, like there's I think there's suggestions that he could be a Skrull.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, this guy's quite good. This time, I can't believe they spotted this, but you know, like the bit where they're going to get Gilgamesh and Athena from wherever they're hiding, and they come across that deviant that they've killed, and Caron's like filming it. It's like, oh, it's beautiful, and Kingo's like, it's not beautiful, it's hideous. But the deviants, they're like a bit of an offshoot. I think the Skrulls are a bit of an offshoot of the deviants, or there's some relation to them somehow. So he would be impressed with it, because obviously it's something that he would consider great if it's something that's kind of attached to him, or something like they're an offshoot, or they're a bit of an evolution of the Skrulls in some way. So if that's going to be the case, that's going to be really, really impressive. So yeah, overall, what would you say Eternals? What would you give it? Would you would you give it like a higher than a 5 out of 10, or are we talking?
Oh, it's definitely higher than a 5. I'd say it's 7.
A solid 7.
A solid 7. Yeah.
Man.
It's good. It's not very good, but it's not going to be just a one and done.
Yeah,
I think the Eternals has got quite a bit of a story. There's definitely going to be a 2, possibly even a 3, depending on how long they want to put this story and where they're going to lead with it.
Yeah.
So people who didn't give it a chance because they're idiots.
Go back and watch it again. You bloody
Go back
fools.
and watch it again because you're a fool.
Okay, right. Well, what we'll do is we'll take a quick break and then we'll get back in with the second part. We're going to talk a bit about Spider-Man, No Way Home, and Hawkeye. I'm going to do a bit of a preview and see what kind of thing we want to see in the show coming forward. So we're back in 2 seconds after this break.
So, Scott, as you may be aware, there's a bit of a lockdown on.
Yes, I had heard that.
Lots of people have suddenly got a lot of time on their hands and a smorgasbord of content to choose from to fill that time. How can people find the best nerdy content when there's so much out there?
It's difficult, but don't worry.
Okay. Hello there, and welcome back to the MCU podcast. We're on part 2 of this. Welcome back to the podcast. We're
extravaganza.
Yeah, this mega event that we've been doing, talking about loads of MCU stuff. Now, I think James did mention this before. I mean, it's a little film that's coming out in December. It's not really got much legs to it.
Overall, it's not really that important to the whole story.
Yeah, there's nothing really.
It's not going to have a massive effect on anything,
and it's not going to like feature multiple of the same characters or multiversal characters. Of course, we are talking about the third Spider-Man film, Spider-Man No Way Home, which we got our second trailer last week for the film. As long as I don't know if you've seen this or not, but on Sunday there's a couple of new TV spots of leaked as well online from various countries. Which there's only about 10 seconds of added footage in them all. There's about 5 of them, and there's only about 5 seconds of footage, but there is some new footage in them. So if you do go online, you can find these, like people have like spliced them all together, so you get like 3 minutes worth of a trailer, but they're all like little TV slots of like 50 odd seconds or something. But really interesting, really cool. Some more stuff from the bridge scene with Dr. Ock, which I'm pretty sure most of the film takes place on that bridge from the looks of the trailers so far.
That's the only scene.
Yes, the only scene that we know about is the Doc Ock scene. So let's talk about the trailer then, James. I mean, what did you think of it? Like, what was your first thoughts of the trailer after watching it? Apart from wow,
you know what? You pretty much summed it up there. There was other noises, but we won't repeat those. You know what? I was already quite excited for this film. Forget any rumors. Forget whatever you might have seen on Twitter or read anywhere else. This film looks like it's going to be really, really good. I love the Spider-Man films anyway. I think Tom Holland is my favourite Spider-Man by quite a distance.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways that this film can go. We'll go with the obvious rumour, shall we?
Yeah, why not?
Apparently, everyone's read it somewhere that there's going to be 3 Spider-Men. That Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are back. Both of those actors have said no, but that wouldn't be the first time an actor's lied about a part in a film. So I honestly do believe that we're going to get spots of them. Yeah. Only because of one thing, and I don't know if you saw this as well. The scene where it's the Lizard, it's Sandman, and it's Electro. Electro's got a new outfit, by the way. Both.
Looks very sick. With what looks to be an arc reactor on the side of him.
Yeah, I saw
which
that.
is cool.
He's got a very nice crown, and more importantly, he's not blue.
No, yeah, definitely not blue. It definitely doesn't look weird.
Not blue. Nice to see Jamie Foxx as well.
Yeah, man.
I know you may have seen this, but there's footage that was very quickly taken away and put back as normal, where you can see Spider-Man, our Spider-Man, Tom Holland jumping towards Sandman.
Yeah.
And then Lizard is closer to the screen, and it's like he gets punched.
Yeah, it recoils.
His body kind of
and
there's nobody hitting in there. And there's also a footage of where it's Tom Holland, Zendaya, and the guy who plays his friend Ned. I can never remember his name.
Jacob.
Guy who plays Ned. Yeah, that's the one.
I can't remember. Jacob Batalon. Where
they're watching it and Tom goes to say something.
Yeah.
And he can hold it and stops himself because he's realizing, oh, shoot, I can't say those words.
I think he says wait. I think he says wait words. I think he's like wait words.
Yeah, yeah, and then stops, and you're like, oh, okay. So that's the massive rumor that I think is definitely going to be a thing.
Yeah, come on. If you look at why would you not? Why would you have one Spider-Man attacking 3 villains in a row? There's no way that they're not in that. No, there's not. There's not a chance. There's not a chance. And like I said, it might be a thing where they're not in it for very long, but you can't give us all this stuff and all this evidence that points towards them being in it and then not being in it. I mean, it's not going to take it away. I don't think it's going to take anything away from the film because I'm still going to enjoy it regardless if they are in it, if they're not in it.
Regardless of whether
I can't see how they're not going to be at this point. Yeah,
I think I genuinely think they might just be in it for literally that fight scene, because I think that fight scene takes place very quickly after when Doctor Strange is on top and says, "I can't stop them. They're already here."
Yeah.
And I think that is all going to be very, very close together. And I think when those kind of 3 villains appear, you're going to hear a web shoot, and you're probably going to get Tobey Maguire. And then when you see MJ fall, I think that's when we're going to get Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I'm literally just guessing at things. Obviously, I've watched this trailer multiple times now, and I feel like he's going to fall and catch her and save her as kind of retribution for the fact that Gwen Stacy dies in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I can see it. I mean, there's a lot to prefer with the way that they've edited people in of things and out of things. There's no reason why the hand that goes to grab her is 100% Tom Holland's suit that he's wearing in that scene. It is. Mm-hmm. It's not the Amazing Spider-Man suit, because I can't really show you. if you look behind me, it's not the same. It's not the same design at all. So it's not
audio listeners. But go to his YouTube.
Yeah, go to my YouTube and watch a video, or go to my TikTok and you'll see all there. But basically, if you can edit that to be anyone's suit, because they're all CGI anyway.
They can easily change it for the sake of the second and a half that it is, 2 seconds, whatever.
Yeah.
It can be changed. I'm not saying that definitely would, but that would just be it would be very, very is poetic the right term? It would make sense. It would make sense for that to be Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Yeah, it really would.
And then
it's so cool to see him do that. It really would. I
can't
imagine.
Thing,
yeah,
the Doc Ock thing. I've got a theory that he actually helps. That he isn't. That after he realizes it's not his Peter Parker.
Yeah,
that he's very, very much like, what the. Why are you here?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Who are you, kind of thing? Because there's a bit where he's where they're talking to him, and they ask his name and they laugh.
Yeah.
Now, if you just had a fight with this guy, and he was trying to kill you, wouldn't have stood there chatting with him. Yeah. And I don't know. I just feel like that Dr. Octavius probably will have maybe a helping hand towards it until the other Peter Parker turns up.
Right.
I don't know. Again, it's just something I've watched it multiple times, and there's so many different theories out there that I've read and that I've got, and it's the most excited I've been for a Marvel film, I think, since Infinity War.
Yeah, so 100%. I think there's so much scope for so much stuff to happen, and so many interesting takes on everything, and the fact that we've only seen 5 villains so far, and we're hoping it's going to be a Sinister Six. But I mean, for anyone, so I'd be interested in finding out what people think about this, because I'd like to think what people want or think the 6th villain will be, because you could have either any of the villains we've seen so far in the MCU. So you've got Vulture already, Mysterio could come back because you know that no one in the Marvel's ever dead. You could get Scorpion could make an appearance. If you've seen the post-credit scene for Venom, there's a chance that you could see a Venom.
I really don't see it being Venom. I think we spoke about this, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't want it to be Venom either.
No, I think if they throw Venom in there, there's a term that I want to use, but again, you'd probably have to edit it out. They shoot their shot too much by having it be Venom. I think there's a whole different. If they're going to do Venom 3, then I think Tom Holland will be involved with that.
Yeah,
because now obviously if Eddie Brock has now been brought into that universe.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where Venom 3, or they might even call it Venom versus Spider-Man or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't see Venom being in it, but I think it will be. I think Vulture will be the sixth man.
Oh yeah. Well, that'd be my pick if I'm being honest. Either him or Scorpion, Matt Gargan, because obviously he seemed like he had a bit of a vendetta against him at the end of Spider-Man: Homecoming. Mm-hmm. So that'd be quite cool to see him be part of it. Because we've had Vulture and we've not really had Scorpion so far in the MCU. So that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I want to see my man Scorpion. Also, shout out to J.K. Simmons in the trailer. Can't wait to see more J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson. Yes, that's gonna be so good. I can't actually wait. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very fun film. And I think Doctor Strange is going to be a bad guy.
Yes,
in some way. I don't know how. I don't like. Maybe if he's been manipulated, or maybe it's someone else pretend to be Doctor Strange. But something about Doctor Strange is not cool.
No, the way that him and Peter obviously have a fight. When he steals, I don't know. I couldn't make out what he steals from him.
That cube in it, the cube, which I'm assuming catches. I think the cube catches some of these bad guys because I think that's how they get Doc Ock to be contained in that little pod thing. Because in the first trailer, you see the lizard in one of them containers.
Yes, because he jumps from behind him, doesn't he?
Yeah, that Doc Ock's in. So when they say let's Scooby-Doo this crap, I'm assuming they're going around and they're catching all these bad guys like Pokemon and putting them in these little containers.
They all die eventually.
But then I think it'll be a case of like they're all gonna break free for the end battle. I think they're all gonna be in there and they're gonna come through and I can't stop them. I think that's them all breaking free of the of the prison that they've kept.
Pokeballs.
Yeah, the Pokeballs. And then that's when the Spider-Man come through because they're going to come through a portal or something. Or they're going to come through, I don't know, whatever it is that Doctor Strange does. But I think that's what's going to cause the final fight scene. But I think Doctor Strange has got some answering to do. He's something not right about him, and I hope we find out soon. Well,
he blames Peter for the spell break, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does.
He tampers with the spell.
Yeah, because it does seem like he does though, because obviously he's like, oh no, but what about all these people? I want them to know I'm still Spider-Man. He's like, shut up, do your fucking spell, you dickhead. Shut up.
You know what? Do it, you. Do it,
you fucking self. Just throw like that's it. Toys out the pram. He's not arsed anymore. Not bothered. Right. Well, let's leave it there for the Spider-Man chat. Let's do a quick 5 minutes.
One last thing for that, we do get an early release in the UK as well.
Yes, we do. That's a good point. Yeah. So
tickets go on sale on the 29th. If you buy my tickets, I'll be really love you.
Yeah, let's get tickets for that. Let's get tickets on that day, and let's go on the 15th at midnight if we can. Let's do it. Let's oh yeah, another part on that as well. If you are one of the people who goes to watch it on the 15th, don't post it on social media. Don't be a dick. We'll do a proper preview before Spider-Man probably anyway comes out because we'll probably have another podcast due before that. But as a word of warning, don't ruin anything for anyone because I've not even watched Venom 2
just before Christmas.
Yeah, I've not watched Venom 2, but I know what happens in the post-credit scene because it's been posted all over social media and all over YouTube and everywhere. I couldn't avoid it.
Couldn't escape it.
And I've still not watched Venom 2, which I'm going to watch it, but again, I'm a bit annoyed that was ruined for me, even though I weren't even looking for it. It just
this is why I have to watch Spider-Man at the midnight viewing. I can't have it ruined. I can't.
No, I'll be livid if someone ruins it for me. Right, let's just do a quick few minutes on Hawkeye. So Hawkeye comes out tomorrow because this comes out on Tuesday. So tomorrow we get our first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. I think it's a 6-part show.
Yeah, it's 6 parts.
So we'll have another 4 episodes after that for the next 4 weeks, and then obviously by that time that happens, we're going to get Spider-Man. We'll get Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's out during it.
It'll be the week. It might be the week before last episode.
Let me just check my calendar.
Yeah, I'm just going to check now. So Wednesday, so that'll be one Wednesday.
So we'll have one more episode. 4. We'll have one more episode due out on the 22nd.
After it, yeah. Okay.
So one episode is due out after it.
Poor Hawkeye, man. That limelight's going to be taken straight away from them last 2 episodes because people are just not going to want to talk about it. They're going to talk about Spider-Man.
No one's no.
But I'm excited for it. The trailers have made it look impressive. That video that they released for Disney Plus Day last week, there's like a whole 6 minutes cut scene of them in a high speed chase in a car, which looks like a lot of fun. Yes, that's going to be really, really interesting. I think this has got the potential to be like one of the best things of this year for me, apart from Spider-Man, obviously. I've got really high hopes for this. I genuinely think this is going to be really good. Like, it's Christmas feel. It's going to be. I don't think it's going to be like gritty and dark. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Jeremy Renner, no matter what you can say about him, like, he's great as Clint Barton. Haley Steinfeld is cool, and I think she's going to be really likable as Kate Bishop. Yelena Belova is going to be back. Florence Pugh's coming back. She knew that she was filming earlier this year. So she's in Atlanta for it, so we know she's coming back, especially what happened at the end of Black Widow. She's going to be sticking her arm in and making it difficult for our lad Clint. Linda Cardellera is back. Who else we got in here? Obviously, we've got Echo making her appearance in the show. I just think this is going to be a lot of fun, man, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be really good. I unfortunately won't get to watch the first 2 episodes until Thursday, I don't think, anyway, because I'm at a funeral on Wednesday, so I won't actually get to watch it. But what are your hopes for this show? Like, are you hoping it's going to do some sort of building for the MCU, or do you just see it as a bit of a one-off to kind of?
I think it's a one-off.
Check in with Clint and make sure he's all right and he's not.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of an expansion on Clint's story, because he's never had a solo film. He's always been he's always not. It's not a smaller role, because that sounds awful, because he does quite a bit in Endgame. But he's never had a solo film. I think this is very much not a passing of the torch, but it's very much right. Here he is. This is what he's doing, and this is what he's done now since the Avengers kind of aren't really up to destroy half of humanity anymore. So I'm fine with it not really building anything. I think I can't remember the lady's name, the one who recruits the fake Captain America.
Val.
Val.
She's known in Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Yeah. I can imagine she's going to turn up, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she's going to appear at some point. So, yeah, this one, I know I was saying earlier that I'm not a big fan of things I haven't built into anything, but he's already quite a well-established character.
He's one of the OG Avengers, though, yeah.
Yeah, he's literally an OG. He's from the 2012 Avengers?
Yeah, his first appearance was Thor 1, 2011.
Yeah. So he's been around. So I think it's fine that he has something different. I know I'm contradicting myself from earlier, but it's not just for the sake of it. I feel like there's a reason that Clint's got his own thing here. So I don't know where it's going to go, but it's definitely going to have a bit to play with Black Widow's sister. And then also what you said about Echo. So whether it's building into Echo, if it is building towards that, then fine. At least Jeremy Renner got kind of his solo bit.
Yeah,
because I don't think we needed a Hawkeye film.
No, definitely not. And not there's anything wrong with it. Not would have been anything wrong with it, but I'm not sure if there would have been enough clamoring for a Hawkeye film. Black Widow deserved her own film because she's Black Widow. I'd say arguably a bigger character in the comics than Clint is. So I think that's fair to say that she's
also an OG.
And she's OG, and she's the only female Avenger, so she was always going to get her own film because we need more female characters, female-led characters in the MCU, like that need to be shown to be what they are, which are absolute badasses. Yeah. So it was good that she got her own film. But yeah, I think this was the best way to kind of give Hawkeye what he needed, as well as, like I said, passing the baton on to Kate Bishop, because if they're going to be setting up these young Avengers, which it looks like they are, because we've got
we've already had young Loki.
Yeah. Well, but I don't think young Loki will be part of the Young Avengers. It's more.
I don't know. What was that? Maybe that was just more of a nod.
Wicked and Speed from WandaVision, Kate Bishop, Stature, which will be Cassie Lang's character from Ant-Man films, and then you've got the nephew from Falcon Winter Soldier. I can't remember what his name is. Isaiah Bradley, was that? So yes. He's going to be. So there's so much potential for a young Avengers. Even Echo could be in there. Ironheart could be in there. We've got a lot going forward for there to be a young Avengers, and I think Kate Bishop is probably going to be a big part of that. So it's a good way to introduce her, but also give Clint Barton is maybe not his send off, but at least his own time in the limelight.
I feel that if he was, say, for example, there's another film where he is in it and he is killed. Sorry, where another part where he is killed.
Yeah.
I think that everyone would be like, "Oh, we never got anything with him. We kind of always he was always just the other person in someone else's films. He was always like, in the background kind of thing." So I think it will be a bit of a send off. Like I said, if it leads to Young Avengers, if it leads more to Echo, then great.
I think we'll do all right.
I think he deserves that after being part of the MCU for 10 years.
Yeah, 100%. So I was going to try and do a episode reaction to these ones, but again, like I said, I don't think I'll be able to do that. So it might be a case of not doing them this time around. I'm thinking next time we're going to meet for the podcast, we'll touch on a few of the episodes that we've seen so far. I might do like a mid-season review of Hawkeye, as well as talk about some of the upcoming MCU stuff. So I think that's what we'll do instead of doing a reaction show after these episodes, and then try and start them again in the new year with Moon Knight and She-Hulk, possibly Miss Marvel. So for now, I think we'll leave it there for this episode. So thank you very much, James, for joining us.
Thank you for having
me. Pleasure having you back, and pleasure back talking about MCU things. Do you want to tell the people where they can find you if they're interested in finding you on social media?
Yeah, I can't remember my Twitter handle, so if you want to just give me 1 second and do your magic when you edit this. If you want to find me on Twitter, it is @FightJamesFight.
Fight James Fight. Play on the Fight Kevin Fight from Mr. Kevin Owens. Cool. Well, make sure you follow James on Twitter. You can follow the MCU Guy on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, or the MCU Guy. Make sure you come and find us, or you could just hit the Linktree button that will be in the description for this podcast. Thank you very much for joining us, James. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you soon. Ciao and Bella.
This podcast is part of the That Thing You Might Like network. Here's something you might like. Find us on socials @TTYL Network.